Today I've got both my Trek Dual Sport as well as the Genesis GV60. And today we're going to find out if the Genesis GV60 can bike. And what I mean by that is, can you fit an adult size bike in the back of the car? Now, I have not tested this beforehand, so you're going to be learning with me as I do this. So if you want to find out if it can, then stay tuned. Genesis was nice enough to lend me the 2024 GV60 Performance for a week. So thank you, Genesis. So a lot of people ride bikes, and not everybody has a trailer hitch on their car. So they can't use a platform style bike rack like I like to use with my Ioniq 5. I did show you guys that in a video a few years ago, and that's my preferred method of transporting a bike just because it's easy on, easy off. It's really not a hassle. You don't risk getting the inside of your car dirty if you've been going on the trail or whatever. So this video is for people who don't want a trailer hitch, don't want to strap a bike rack on the back, and are only moving a bike around every once in a while. My recommendation, if you are biking a lot and need to move your bike a lot, then just get a trailer hitch installed and mount it that way. So anyway, let's pop the trunk and let's check it out. So to start with, this is my Trek Dual Sport 3. It is 72 inches from tip to tail. So this is going to be the longest version of a Trek Dual Sport. Unfortunately, we've got the light colored interior here on the GV60. So we'll try to not get it too dirty. The bike is fairly clean. I haven't ridden it in a while. So the first thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna remove the cargo cover. You just squeeze both sides and then pull that out. And now we'll fold down the seats. But the first problem you're gonna find is that even here in a very expensive luxury car, there are no switches back here to lower the rear seats, which honestly I find pretty annoying. The Ioniq 5 is the same way, the GV60. I just don't understand why they don't do it. The 2025 Ioniq 5 is going to have buttons back here that you will be able to use to lower them, so that is nice, but Genesis, please add those. So to lower the seats on the GV60, you gotta come around to the passenger side doors and then pull this lever, and they will fold flat. They do lock into place. And we'll do the same thing over here on the other side. So some differences here between the GV60 and the Ioniq 5. The Ioniq 5 does have the forward and backward moving rear seats, and that allows you to put a roughly 6 to 8 inch gap between the back seats and the trunk area. So you get a nice channel in the middle that's really helpful for putting the pedals of the bike so that it lays a little bit more flat. Unfortunately, here in the GV60, we do not have that. This vehicle is overall shorter than the Ioniq 5, so it is likely going to be a little bit more of a stretch here. I do have the driver's seat set for me. It's pretty far back in its tracks, but not all the way. And I did move the passenger seat forward maybe 4 inches further than the driver's seat, just to assume that you might have a smaller person in the passenger seat with you. But if you got a passenger in the car with you, you're likely gonna need 2 bikes, but we'll start here and see how it does. So when I did do this with the Ioniq 5, I did have better luck putting the rear wheel of the bicycle in first. So we'll go ahead and do this. I just want to be extra careful here because this is not my car. Let's see. So the problem for me is that I sit pretty high on the bike, so my seat post is really tall. So that's really one of the issues here right now. Yeah, the problem is the handlebars are yeah, I don't think this is gonna fit. So yeah, it is not gonna work in that orientation. I'm gonna try and flip it 180 degrees towards the other direction and see if that helps. Yeah, it is not going to fit without taking the front wheel off, so let's just pop the wheel off and see how it looks at that point. Okay, so now with the front wheel off the bike, we are successfully in. We've cleared the trunk. We are pretty close to the back seat. but we are fitting. So we can just toss in our wheel and we'll give it a close. It does look like you would be able to get a second bike stacked on top of this if you did take the wheel off the front, so you could potentially do it. After a quick wardrobe change, I realized I didn't test putting the handlebars and the front wheel in first, so we'll do that right now. And the reason is the Ioniq 5, that was the best way to do it. Okay, this is looking a little more promising. Ooh. Okay, so it looks like this might work. All right, so it looks like it might actually fit in this orientation. You just gotta be really careful that your bike tires aren't hitting up against any of this light colored material. So the answer to the question, does the GV60 bike? Yes, it does bike. Does it bike well? Not compared to the Ioniq 5. The Ioniq 5 is a little bit more capable. It has a little bit more length, so it does make it a little bit easier. All around, the GV60 is just a smaller car versus the Ioniq 5. In a pinch, you could get a bike back here, but if you're spending upwards of $65,000, $67,000 for a car, spend a few $100s, get a trailer hitch put on, just use a platform style bike rack. I'll have a link in the description to the one that I've been using for, 6 or 7 years now. It's been a long time and it's still holding up. One of my more favorite purchases over the last few years. So anyway, guys, if you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I will be releasing a Genesis GV60 review relatively soon. Check out my store at ioniqguy.com for cool accessories for your Hyundai Kia Genesis EV. The automatic door locking module does work with the Genesis GV60, and I do have instructions for it, and that does install via the trailer light wiring harness that's located right behind this panel. It's a pretty easy install. I have a manual that you can check out at the link below as well. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.